progress,
The
as
pro-
things have progressed, the Zoom participants have been less and less on camera. Early on, it was everybody was on camera, probably.
Tito, we got you freezing up at a little bit.
Okay.
But,
Everything you say is a value, sir. Everything. Mr. Lennon?
Hey, Dan, how are you, sir?
I'm well, thank you, sir.
Tito, I think that their not video's not up because they're actually not participating in the meeting.
Could be. No, this was even if you get the panel or whatever, there's a lot of no video.
I am getting a unstable connection.
Well, Mark, you just froze. There you go. You just unfroze. You're freezing again.
Yeah, we're getting unstable connection for some reason, and everything's plugged in. I'm not sure what that would be.
It's either that or you're doing a really good impression of a robot. I mean, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's my Michael Jackson impression. Robots. Always at the last minute.
Well, you would need it an hour earlier.
I'm here at 7. We're up and everything's fine. And then right beforehand, you get more people on, I guess, and then we start getting an unstable connection, and I don't know why.
officers. And lastly, I just want to congratulate Marv and his team on the new international commercial air service with Viva Aerobus between Harlingen and Monterey, and guarantee that we'll be ready and prepared for the new additional travelers. So good luck to you, Marv, and the team. Appreciate it. That's all I have.
Thank you, Ed.
Thank you, Ed. Continue, Mark.
Yeah, next on our list is our FBOs, Gulf Aviation or Sun Valley. I have not seen them. Well, actually, hold on. There's a few coming in right now, including the mayor. But Arlene Garza is actually coming in. So let's hold off and she'll be here in a second.
Okay.
Watch. Second. See if I'm talking over here. Okay, I see Arlene up now. Arlene, just in time. You got anything to report? Arlene, you're muted.
Yes, sir. Can you hear me now?
We hear you loud and clear now.
Okay, perfect. Okay, give me just a second because I did have a report. Okay, good morning, everybody. First and foremost, I would like to congratulate the airport staff board and City of Harlingen on the newly established International Airlines. We're definitely looking forward to the new service and the additional travel options. With regards to Gulf Aviation's recent activity, we have recently experienced uptakes in activity for our commercial carriers. Both United and American have increased their overall activity by adding back approximately the 2 to 3 flights daily, which were removed pre-COVID. We continue to await a response from Frontier with regards to their pre-COVID flight schedules as we continue moving forward. We have also seen an increase in activity within our general aviation operations, and this will typically reflect within our general aviation gallons uplifted reporting that will be spoken about later in the meeting. Overall activity consistency remains a variant as we continue to move forward through the pandemic. Finally, we are just about done with the completion of repairs and remodeling on the old Gulf Avionics hangar. We will be moving our aircraft maintenance department into this hangar and are looking forward to do so by the end of this month. Please let me know if anyone is interested in a walkthrough at our new maintenance facility. At this time, I have no further information and I'm available for questions.
Any questions for Arlene? Okay, I didn't see anybody from Sun Valley come on. Is there anybody out there from Sun Valley? Okay, we'll move on.
Thank you.
Thank you, Arlene.
Yes, sir.
So marketing, we continue to adapt on what we're doing in marketing. Some of the same things that we've been doing, particularly over the last few months, are still underway. Particularly the campaign for the Chicago service. I can tell you that every weekend that plane is packed, so it is full. Last weekend, seat open, I believe. So it's going very well. We'll continue to monitor that and work with American Airlines to see if we can get more frequencies in the near future. So the Chicago campaign continues with Google Ads, Facebook, and YouTube. We also have 2 digital boards and 1 static board. We've had up until yesterday, I believe, and then it switched to the Viva. We have two located in FAR on the McAllen Expressway over there, and also one at VIA Harlingen going out that also was just moved to Viva. We'll alternate and change those as we go. We just want to make sure we get the word out on the new service. So our Viva campaign is kicking off, and it is also kind of fluid. We have 6 tickets given to us from Viva Aerobus, and there's going to be a stakes type of arrangement. You can go on our website at flythevalley.com and register. And as you register there, then you'll be eligible for the prizes, which include 6 tickets to be given away. So everyone out there, at least non-affiliated with the airport, I believe, should go out there and try to win those tickets. The Viva campaign is underway, and that it just switched from the Chicago on billboards from 2 digital billboards on FAR at McAllen Expressway, and one via here right as you exit the airport our billboard. Target markets include we're targeting a wide range of the area, 200-mile radius of the RGV, and also the greater Corpus area, and that's with Google Ads that'll pop up on devices that we select. So we're also looking at creating current keywords and working, putting all that together so that we actually, particularly electronic ads, will pop up, based on what words we have that we're actually including in the ad. So again, our marketing team has done a good job. These displays have come from our marketing team in-house that you see up there for the billboards, and working in conjunction with Viva Aerobus's marketing department. So this is an ongoing efforts. I have instructed our marketing department to give me a Easter basket kind of thing of ideas, so that we can pick and choose and to see how we can hit the most people out there, to make sure that everybody's aware of the new service. Any questions on marketing?
Marv, this is Richard. I've got a question. Is that 75 or whatever it is, 70 something dollar, just a promotional rate, or is that kind of the typical rates that they charge?
Well, it's much like other airlines. It's the base rate. So, most airlines will have a certain number of tickets at this rate. And then as the plane fills up, those tickets get to, go up in price. I can tell you that, in the first less than 24 hours, it was, I don't even think it was, 20 hours, so maybe 15 hours or so. But they already had 100 tickets sold on the first flight out of Monterey. So the bookings, I believe now, as of yesterday, were well over 700 tickets sold already. So you're going to start seeing those prices go up on the internet. So they'll like to get your tickets as early as possible to take advantage of those low fares, those kind of introductory fares. I hate to say introductory fares, they're always there. It's just enough seats that'll be available at that price. So I haven't seen this morning, and maybe Jose has checked it this morning, but they're still working on putting the connections up on their website. This was a really fast startup. I've never had an airline start up so quickly. We announced, and they're starting in May 6th. So it's taking its time trying to get everything done. But Viva Aerobus has been working furiously over the last couple of days to try to get the connections up, because we've had several calls. How can I book my ticket to Cancun? And other places in Mexico, because it doesn't show those connections just yet, but they should be up soon. Jose, check this morning?
Yes, good morning. The connections are still not up. I texted them this morning to see what's going on, but no report yet. They're still not up.
Okay. Hopefully they'll be up soon. Any questions on the marketing? Okay, if it's all right with you, Craig, we'll move into the progress report. And I'm glad for the first time in over a year that I can progress in March. As you can see there, Southwest Airlines up 16.1%. United was up 33%. American was up 113%. Frontier still hasn't put the capacity back in the market, so they're down 43% because they didn't have the capacity they had last year in March. Sun Country was up 19.9%. Delta, of course, paused this season. and our charters were up 43%. You can see there on the left that the market share is pretty much the same as it was last year at this point. So overall for the year so far, the fiscal year, we're down 38%. I suspect that by the end of the year, we'll be closing the gap on that. As you can see here, the spike we've seen in March with 25,669 employments. You can look down there at some of the other years that, we were up as high as in 2018-19, pre-pandemic at 35,000. So we're 10,000 off. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that the capacity is not back in the market yet, because all the planes are full. As I was stating earlier before we started the meeting, it's pretty bad when I can't get a ticket out of here to go to Austin this weekend and I have to drive. So to see my granddaughter's birthday party, but either way, got to be there and got to go. But I couldn't get one ticket out of here today to Austin. So outbound seats available on the left there for March. As you can see, the capacity for Southwest Airlines is still not back in the market. It's more than it was, but at minus 43% compared to pre-pandemic or last year. So that was mid-month pandemic. They didn't have time to change schedule, but in either case, it's down 43%. United was actually up 5%, so they're back to capacity. Sun Country was even from last year, so they're where they were last year. Of course, Delta again paused the season, so you don't see the number of seats in the market from them. American Airlines up 58%, and that's going to continue to climb as in June they add a fourth flight. So they're very taking advantage of the fact that not everyone has capacity back in the market. And then Frontier Airlines, again, their capacity is not back in the market yet, 63% down over last year. But I think the story is this on the left hand or the right hand side are load factors. These are record load factors. 92% for Southwest Airlines. 84% for United, 96% for Sun Country, 76% for Frontier, and 90% for American Airlines. Those are just time to put more capacity in the market, guys. So we're doing everything we can to see that come back. And here you can see the spike. We're heading back to pre-pandemic, levels. So we had that quick spike from February on to March, and we're hopeful that and believe that that's going to continue, particularly next month as we add Viva Aerobus to the mix as well. So we're really excited about that. Have a lot of the data yet. It's kind of a short month, so we didn't have a lot of the data from the other carriers. But again, you can see where we were and where we are compared to the other airports in the Rio Grande Valley. Hopefully, we'll get numbers from them over the next couple of weeks so that we can update this chart and send it. Our cargo is down 30%. FedEx was up 23%. And Southwest was still without the capacity in the market. They're going to be down. And ABX is down 76%. Again, it has to do. This is landing weight. It has to do with the fact that we do not carry the cargo from Monterey through to Monterey now. So that's what's hitting there. So 30% down for the month and 36% down for the year in total cargo in plane.
Marv, before you leave that screen, that made me think of something. Will Viva Aerobus be able to haul cargo, or is there some rules that don't let them do that?
I believe they could. The fact that they won't be set up to haul cargo. We've talked about it with them. That over the counter, they won't have a separate cargo facility, but maybe in the future they could start hauling some cargo freight. Remember, it's only Thursday and May flight, so it's not. It may be difficult to.
That's right.
Report. Okay. I'm sorry, we still have the fuel uplift. I just got handed a note. The fuel uplift commercial was still down 14.2% for Gulf Aviation, 3.7%. So those numbers coming closer to where we were prior to the pandemic. Gulf Aviation for military, of course, they do not have the military fueling contract, so that is zero. Sun Valley Aviation was up 12.6% over last year, and general aviation, both FBOs are seeing a big increase in general aviation, as you can see there. So overall, for the month or for the year, we're down 21.8%, and for the month, just about even at 1.7% down. Now, any questions on the progress report? All right, we'll move on. It's all yours, Craig.
Okay, the consent agenda, are there any recommended changes to the minutes? Nothing on the minutes, so let's move to the financial report. Are there any questions regarding the financial report? I've got a couple of questions on the financial report. One of them asked last month, and I probably need to hear the answer again because I can't remember what it was. But the first question has to do with the accrued vacation and sick leave. Looks like we had a big spike in it this month. Is that just because we finished the calendar year and you're starting over?
No, actually, that's a coding error, and it's $14,000. So we're going to remove $14,000 from that line item and move it down to 3 line items to health insurance. So it was just a coding error. We caught it last night, but it was too late to put it in for this presentation.
Okay, and then the U.S. Customs, again, we haven't spent any money with U.S. Customs. Tell me again why we haven't done.
Okay, on U.S. Customs, it's now based on a user fee. And because we have less cargo that's coming through is what I believe the answer is. As a result, we're spending a lot less money than we did last year at this point.
I'll try to remember that next month. Okay. Those are all the questions I have. Any other questions on the financials? Could I get a motion to approve the consent agenda, please?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Okay, that moves us to consider take action to approve the mid-year budget amendment FY 2020-2021 budget and recommend approval of the City Commission. Got a presentation here somewhere.
Yeah. Let me stop sharing mine, and then Ron's going to share his, so he can go over those slides.
Do you have the slides up, Mark?
Oh, I thought you were going to share your computer slides.
Hang on.
I can do it. Put them up if you like.
I think. Can you see this?
Not yet. You got to hit the confirm.
Put it on yours, Mark.
Okay.
And then I'll move it around from there.
Well, you won't be able to move it from on mine. I can.
Okay, so this is the first slide for the mid-year update, and we decided to start off with cash flow. It's actually a very favorable position, and then the following slides after it, they'll support what's in here. So anyhow, on this particular one, the first column of numbers, it represents where we are at the end of February. So at the very top, it says that we started out with a cash position of $3.7 million. And then we're going to move to the bottom, and at the end of February, we're in at 5.5 million. So it's the very last line item. So that just gives you a starting point as to how we're preparing the mid-year. So the next column, which is the second column of numbers, again, you start off with 3.7 million. is the October 1st balance. And the top or the bottom, ending for this year, we expect to be at 6.6 million. So that's represented by the first section, which is called uses of cash. This is where you spend your money. The first 4 line items represent income statement line items. So it's like personnel services, supplies, things like that. And then the next 2 represent your capital purchases. So that would be equipment and smaller projects we're doing locally. And then the next line item, it's up farther, Mark, it's up in the top section. Capital improvements is $10.2 million. And these are projects that are predominantly funded by the FAA. The remaining portion would be either PFC or local spend. So in total for this year, we expect to spend about $20 million. The next section down is your sources of cash. And the first 4 line items, again, that represents revenue that comes in on the income statement. And then we have a little bit of interest for cash that's on hand. And then the next line item is PFC collections. And if you recall, PFC represents emplanements times approximately $4 per emplanement. So it's going to be close to $1 million. The next line is your grant money. So we had talked about the capital improvements that we were spending money on. This is actually the amount of money that we'll receive this year from those projects. That comes from the FAA. The next big line item is the COVID-19 grant money. And if you recall, that money is to be spent, or that funding is to reimburse us for expenses that we had, plus any local capital expenditures. So that's about $8.7 million. So in total, our sources will be $22.5 million, which brings our cash position to $6.6 million for this year. So that's where we're anticipating to be at the end of September. The next 2 columns, they represent your out years. So for 2022 and 2023, and it's the same process. I've, as far as uses of cash, I put in a little bit of inflation and on the expenditures, and then I've added in what we think we're going to do for capital purchases and capital improvements. So that's about 10.3 million that we'll spend next year. And then sources of income, again, it's projections on our revenue that will come in. Then PFC collections, we're anticipating additional emplanements next year. And then we have grant money that comes in for the spending that was listed up above. And then our COVID grant money again, which is for local expenditures. And that brings us to a source of cash of 18.7. So we're going to get more money next year than we're actually spending. So that's going to drive our cash position up to $15 million. The final year of the budget period, again, there's a bit of inflation that's put in for expenses. Then we have capital improvements, capital purchases, capital improvements. The big number there, the 16.5, that's for the runway extension, which we're anticipating finishing the project during this time period. So we have uses of cash about $24.5 million. And then the next section down is the sources. Again, it's the income based on emplanements and invoicing to the airlines and concessionaires and so on. We still have some interest coming in. PFC collections, again, are going up because we are envisioning our emplanements to increase year over year. And then the next one is grant money coming in. Now, we have less grant money coming in than we're spending, simply because the project will probably come close to the end of the year, and I can't collect it all until the following year. So it'll increase again in the out years. And then we have the COVID grant money. You can see that that number is $3 million, which is significantly less than the 2 prior years. And that's because we're capping at that point on our spending. And if you recall, the COVID grant money that we get, we have to spend it within the 4-year time period. So there's no issue there. We should be able to collect all of our money. So at the end of 3 years, your cash balance should be about close to $12 million. So is there any questions on cash flow?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
so just a couple of questions. I see the change in capital purchases. We're going from 300,000 to $2 million. Are we, what exactly is it that we're purchasing in the second half of the year?
They're going to present that in just a few minutes.
Gotcha. Okay.
Okay, so this next slide, the next 3 slides are your income statement. This is the revenue section. So the idea with this slide is to identify changes from the budget period to the mid-year in order of magnitude. And because our revenue is going to run from $3.6 million in the budget up to $3.9 million in the mid-year, it's going to increase by 235. I put the positive items on top. So the first 3 items, they represent amounts that we're receiving based on commissionable sales that are coming in. And the first section is rent-a-cars, CFC, and fuel sales. I put those together because they're all related. So that one's going to move from $879 up to $1.3 million. So it's $400,000 better. The next section down is parking. And again, it's because of employment increases, we should have a lot of commissionable sales. It's going to move from 352 up to 654. So it increases by 300,000. And same thing happens with the restaurant, gifts and news. So that's your concessionaires inside the terminal. They're going to increase by 70,000. The next item, a little bit different. It's advertising. If you recall, when we completed the budget, we made an assumption that some of our advertisers would not be renewing, and as a result, we would be losing revenue. Well, that has not happened at all. It's actually increased. So we're going to move it from 29,000 up to 52,000. So it's an increase of $23,000. Next, so those are all your positive items. A couple of negative items. Continuance of the RAP program to the end of June. So now we're suggesting that we, in this version, we're suggesting that we continue that till the end of September. So if you recall in the budget, we had put in, I think it was 50% for the last half of the year. And we're not doing that now. So we're saying for airline fees and rentals, we'll have a reduction of about $346,000.
Ron, if I could, I just wanted to clarify that,
Okay.
that for budgetary purposes, we assumed we're just putting that in conservatively, saying that if we continued in a worst case scenario, the RAP program to the end of September, that was the budget number we used, not that we actually made that decision by now. Of course, that'll come back to the board. Okay.
No, the decision is only till the end of the third quarter. The fourth quarter is the change that we've had here. The next one down is, excuse me, is air freight landing. And we don't have, for ABX, we don't have as many flights coming in. So we've had a reduction there of about $130,000. The next one is ground handling services. Again, that would be for the continuation of the RAP program. That's about a $60,000 reduction, and hangars would be about a $47,000 reduction. Then the last item, which is number 9, it's grouping all of the other revenue items together, and you can see there's just a minor change. And the big items that are there is our ULA contract, buildings, ground leases, farming, etc. So in total, it's still a good picture. We will have a revenue increase of about 6.5%. Is there any questions on revenue? Okay, let's move forward to expenses. Again, it's set up the same way. It's in order of magnitude, and we're going to increase expenses. So First item is marketing. When we started the budget, again, it was pretty dismal. We said we were going to reduce expenses there. It was going to be 120,000. Well, since then, we've increased it to 400,000. Or suggesting to increase it to 400,000. And again, it's the PSA commercials. Plus, we have landed a new airline and we have to support them as well. So there's an amount in there for them. So that's for Viva Aerobus.
Ron, on that item, I just want to add, if you watch the financials over the fiscal year, those PSA announcements that we made, it said that we're ready for business, we're open for business, come to the airport. Our first month billing October was like $137,000. So we spent a lot of money there. So we're already way over the budget. So obviously we need to make an adjustment here.
Yes, that is correct.
I have a question also, Tito, here, and I don't know if this is Marv or Jose or somebody. Are the PSA commercials, I think, were outstanding and very timely. But things have evolved. For example, Marv can't get a fly out, can't get a seat out of Harlingen. Are we evolving that to say, hey, we're open? Because I think everybody knows we're open now. Are they evolving so that the message is more consistent with the time?
I can tell you, Tito, that it was always our plan to do a third phase of commercials. The first phase was to get that public announcement out. The second phase was to reinforce that with the participation of all of the tenants and airlines as well, to let people know that all we're doing to keep them safe, including the airlines. And the third phase was to show the amenities that we have here at the airport now for them, which all of our other tenants that are car rentals and particularly our food and beverage, news and gift as well. We wanted to show them, and show the people that magnitude. We put that on pause only because we landed Viva Aerobus, and it's kind of a very positive thing, but it's kind of got us rethinking exactly what the next step is, and we're reviewing that now. And like I said earlier, that's why we're putting together an Easter basket of ideas on how we move forward. But we did pause the third phase at this moment, just to bring Viva Aerobus up online and decide how we get that word out. The biggest thing right now is to get people to fly that new service as well, and to know about that new service. So expect more details as we move forward, in future board presentations, and what our recommendations will be to move forward with the marketing. Right now, it's kind of in somewhat limbo and in flux because of the Viva Aerobus entry.
Thank you, Mark.
Okay, the next line item is ground handling service, and we do support airlines. We have an additional airline, as we said, Viva, coming in. So at this point, we're going to hire a ground handling manager plus additional part-time support to handle those flights. Excuse me. Next one is professional fees, and it's increased by $42,000. The big change here is we've hired a couple additional companies as Commercio and Route Hunters. And again, the Route Hunters has been instrumental in helping us land the airline. So that'll continue for the rest of this year. And hopefully we get some other ones out of this. Next line item is information systems. We had a budget of 65. We're going to move it to 90. When we added a previous airline, American, we did increase information systems expenses tremendously. So we know that that's going to happen as the rest of this year progresses as well. So we've increased it by 25,000. Utilities, that's just a run rate adjustment. We're actually coming in more favorable than what we had budgeted. Next line item is maintenance. There's no change here. However, there's three projects that have happened. One is we had the freeze in the month of February, so we lost a lot of vegetation, and that'll have to be replaced. And we're going to offset that with moving the elevator repairs and sidewalk renovations to capital. Will be shown on the next slide. And then the remaining items, very small changes, but they represent significant costs in budget mid-year, but again, very, very minor changes. So from an expense standpoint, we're up about $399,000. Is there any questions on expenses?
I would also like to add that the Finance and Audit Committee was also called to review this prior to submitting to the board.
Yes. Okay. This last slide, it just summarizes what happened in revenue and expenses. And again, revenues are up 235. It's predominantly due to employment and commissionable sales. And that's offset or being offset somewhat by the projected continuance of the RAP program. As far as expenses, big things that have happened there is we need to support the addition of the new airline, Aerobus, and continued facilities improvements plus marketing. Is there any questions on anything to do with expense or revenue? Okay, we'll go to the next slide. Okay, so the capital has been split into two slides because there's a numerous amount of projects here. This first one represents what we did approve in the budget. I don't have the total on here, it's on the next page, but the adopted budget was about $744 in expenses. And then the mid-year is going to show an increase. And there's a couple items on here. You can see most of these, or some of these projects are complete already. And there's some differences showing as reductions, but the FIS restroom upgrade, we start out at 125 and we've increased that to $250,000 to make additional improvements. And the other one is the terminal and FIS building repaint. We had approved $90,000 to do the painting, but since then there's been additional work that's required in order to make it look better. So that's increased to $300,000. And again, all of these expenses for the source of the funds, this is all coming from the FAA. This is COVID money that will be coming in.
Let me add here that the FIS restroom upgrade also included the holding cell upgrades, and we bid that in October, and it came in at like $240,000 or $238,000. And we had $125,000 budgeted, and we approved that and knew that a budget amendment would come. Secondly, on the FIS building, as Ron mentioned, we bid that last meeting and approved the bid on that one for $297,000. So those projects are already been awarded.
You're correct, Craig, as well. It's the holding cells, the restrooms, the break room, and we had to pull door jams and put new doors on in areas, including the protection between the screen, the heavy screen underneath the drywall between rooms. So there was a lot more than just the restroom as it portrayed here.
Okay, the next slide. This is the last slide coming in. Okay, so this one shows you where we started out with the adopted budget of $744,000, and we're going to move into the mid-year to about $2.7 million, of which a couple of line items probably to look at. The third item down is the admin elevator. It was moved from expense to capital. It was a major repair, so as a result, we've capitalized that. Next big item down is the BIA Tech Ops building. It's worth $475,000. I believe that one's contracted out as well, and that one will receive money from the FAA. The next one down is Post Security Restaurant, came in at 258, of which a portion of that will be funded through the FAA. The remainder will be a note with the concessionaire. And that's why it's listed over in the other column at $128,000.
That was a project we awarded in June, if I remember correctly, Ron.
Yes. The next item is terminal seating. These are charging stations. So this is for the terminal, about $175,000. Next item is the sidewalk repairs. Again, when we started that one, I think it was we had received a bid of around $60,000. Since then, that one's been rebid and it's coming in at a couple $100,000. This replacement will last for many years. So as a result, we've decided to capitalize that, plus the expenditure amount. The next one is a South Hangar drainage. It's worth $60,000. Brian and I had gone over and viewed an area over there due to flooding concerns when we have hurricane or major rainstorm. So we need to spruce that up. It's about $60,000. The next big one is the SUPS expansion, $100,000. And that one is as a result of landing the new airline. We know that there'll be some software and equipment that is required to be purchased. And the last one on this list is FIS furnishings. Pretty much the FIS building will be bare, so we need to procure some items for people to sit and so on. So we're just putting an amount of $100,000. So that's as far as what we put in for the capital here. Then there was one other item that's not listed on here, and it is for the FIS. It's a backup generator, or a generator for a backup system in the event that the power goes down, and that's about $75,000. So again, that was a late breaking item. We do want to put it on the budget, but it's just not listed in the slides.
Ron, I'm sorry, I gave you the wrong number yesterday. It's 100,000.
100,000. Okay.
Yeah.
This is one of those items that Brian brought to me and really didn't realize that the FIS facility wasn't on the terminal generators, and that we could wait. We talked about waiting till October and putting it in next year's budget, but we all know what happens when we're not prepared. Murphy comes along. And so if we had a flight on the ground and we had power outage, everyone would be stuck inside that facility, not being able to be processed by the CBP and with no lights or anything else. So it's crucial that we have that backup generator, and that's what we need to add. We didn't put it in here on this slides because we just found out about it, and as well as it wasn't talked about by the finance committee, because we just thought about this yesterday. So that's why it wasn't in here, and so we'd like to make sure if we approve the budget mid-year today that we incorporate that $100,000 for the backup generator.
Okay, I'm sure there are questions on the budget amendments.
Just regarding the budget, the generator, I assume we can't extend the existing generator to that building. Does it not have the capacity to electrify that area?
It does have the capacity, but the problem is the FIS is on a totally separate electric grid and different transformer. So to run the cabling, it would be a lot more. I spoke with Guevara with Ethos, and he was part of helping us getting this budget number. And he recommended as electrical engineer that the route to go, it's cheaper to just put its own transfer switch in a 250 kW generator. A lot cheaper.
I can tell you, Ricky, that was the first question I asked as well.
Good question.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Brian, are those diesel? Is that a diesel run generator or what?
It is, yes. This will be a diesel run generator, and I've asked for no less than 48-hour fuel tank to be put on it.
Okay, do we have a diesel supply somewhere?
We do, yes, we do.
Okay, is that something?
And we have diesel delivery that can happen anytime. On this last, during the freeze, we were actually without power for 4 days. And we were on complete 100% generator backup, and no one even knew in this building because it runs 100% on generator, including the airfield. And we were able to run for 4 days and keep those generators filled. And they are also a dual natural gas, so they run a little bit longer than just a generator, but we still had to add fuel, and we do have that capability.
Is that something Gulf and or Sun Valley helps with, or is that completely separate?
It could be Gulf, it could be Sun Valley, and we also have an outside provider as well if needed.
Okay, but we have plans and preparations that are in place.
Yeah, it's part of our hurricane and power outage plan, yes.
Perfect, thank you.
How long can we run without electricity on generator power?
Infinite. Without fueling up, those tanks could probably run for the terminal 4 days. The ARF station has its 100% backup as well. It could probably run 4 or 5 days because they have very little power usage over there. This one, I asked for a 48 hour. It'll probably end up, a 2 day. It'll probably realistically be 3 day because everything that's in that facility has been upgraded and is very energy efficient, LED lighting. So there's not a huge load that's in the FIS. And again, we have 1,200 gallons of diesel on the airport, so we can keep those tanks, every 24 hours, put 100 gallons in them and keep them running.
And that'll add days at a time.
Yeah, and realize, Ricky, as well, is that Viva Aerobus is our only international carrier that will be using that facility, and it will be for an hour or two on Thursday and Sunday. So is all it really has to run is for that particular time, and on those particular days. So if there's an issue with fuel, we can get that taken care of in between those days.
Thank you.
Marv, what is the HVAC software update for $70,000?
Well, we have software here at the airport that controls all the HVAC systems, and I know Brian could probably speak to that much better than I can. So I'm going to hand it off to Brian.
Yes, the HVAC control system is no longer being supported with Vista or Windows. So because Windows is getting rid of Windows 7, they're no longer supporting it. So we're already running at a risk right now. So as soon as the board meeting is done, I plan to sign this contract to get that software updated. And that's typical for Windows. They do that every 6-7 years. They just quit servicing their programs. So we've got to upgrade everything to Vista, and then that also is going to require the controls to be converted to match that system.
This was not updated when we did the big HVAC update renovation about 2 years ago.
Those are components. This is software. And at that time, Windows had no indication that they were going to be eliminating Windows 7. That project was 3 years ago.
And thank you.
You're welcome.
On the VIA Tech Ops building, is that the old ARF building that's being renovated?
It is. We approved the project. We just did not have it in the budget, and so we needed to have that in the budget. And that was a question that Dan brought up, was when we approved it, he did mention, you do know we have to put it in the budget, even though the FAA, corporate FAA or real estate FAA is actually going to reimburse us 100%. We still need to have a line item of it in the budget.
And we awarded that project, I believe, in January.
Yes.
What is pushback for Airbus?
That is the actual piece of equipment that pushes the aircraft back, because the Viva Aerobus flies a 321 Neo. It's a 240 passenger aircraft. We would need a larger pushback for that size of aircraft.
Will Viva bring in the largest plane that we have, bigger than what Southwest flies?
If they fly that one, it would be, yes.
Yeah, they have the option. They wanted the option to be able to bring that in depending on the loads coming in, and they are moving towards purchasing more of those in the future. So we needed the capabilities not only just to push that aircraft back, but also to have redundant capabilities as we continue to use our equipment. It doesn't get any newer. We do preventive maintenance on it, but we want to make sure that we don't have a plane at the gate where we're not able to push back because we have our pushback is out. So we needed a redundant or backup pushback.
Marvin, my assumption is that larger pushback could be used for any plane smaller than their.
Yes, that's exactly right. Yeah.
The terminal seating charging stations, what is included in that? How much of the terminal is in? It doesn't seem like a big number to me for as big of a terminal as we have.
Well, it's actually we've got a map and need to bring that to. We'll put it into a future board presentation so you can see what that project is all about. Don't have it up currently, but it does put a good amount of seats or charging stations underneath the seat areas. It's every other seat, I believe. And correct me if I'm wrong, Brian. But it gives us something that we don't have currently is great charging capabilities for people as they sit at the gate.
And that'll cover north and south terminal?
That's correct.
It'll cover the north and south and also includes underneath the concourse to get all the electrical wiring to those areas so that we can get power to those seats and then up through the floor and all the coring. And this was designed by Megamorphosis and Ethos. So the budget numbers should be good.
Oh, so it's not new furniture, it's just the charging stations.
That is correct. The chairs that we have are in excellent condition.
Thank you, Craig.
Thank you. Any other questions? Marv, can we see that map? Maybe next meeting you can just put it on there, maybe hopefully before you order the stuff.
No doubt. Yeah.
Great. Thank you.
Yeah, when we plan to bid this in May for May's board meeting. So before we award it, I'll make sure that map is there so that you can see it.
Thank you. Any other questions regarding the budget amendments? Could I get a motion to approve the mid-year budget amendments for the FY 2020-2021 budget and recommend approval of the City Commission?
So motion.
Motion by Vicky Moore. Is there a second?
Second.
Rolando Rubiano. All in favor? Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Same sign. Thank you. Item passes. We'll move on to the director's report, please.
Okay, just want to jump into our latest stair line, number 7. As you can see at the top of the screen there, we now have 7 tails across. So we're thinking about getting a lapel pin with all of those. We may look like a general with lots of service. But I can't thank so many people that that actually made this happen. And it was just a cooperative effort between so many organizations, from the city to the EDC, of course, Viva Aerobus and their professional team, Jose Amulet, our Director of Air Service Development, working in conjunction with Javier. And I want to quickly have Jose introduce from Madrid, Spain. I believe he's with us, Javier with the Route Hunter.
Good morning, everyone. Can you hear me, Marv?
Yes, loud and clear.
Great. Javier Suarez is the owner and primary consultant with the Route Hunters, which is a company he started in Madrid. I met Javier in one of my airport conferences when Javier was the director of network planning for Viva Aerobus. And we kept in contact through the years, and then he sent me an email, actually through the LinkedIn app, saying that he'd opened his own business and he is open to help us in any way he can. So I reached out to him with my plan, and that was back in February, I believe. And here we are today with Airbus 320 twice a week, starting May the 6th. And we're still working to get those connections uploaded so that we can promote those connections as well through their hub in Monterrey. Javier, I think you're online. Welcome from Madrid. I know it's about actually 4 o'clock over there, so you probably just had your lunch, Madrid style over there.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you so much, Jose Marv. Yes, it's actually decent time. It's 4 p.m. You know, we've been talking late in the evening when there's a lot of action in Texas. But yeah, happy to be a part of the team. This has been the first airline, the first route that we've helped launch together. But I'm hoping that there's more routes to come. So you know, happy to be part of the family. Thanks, everybody.
Javier, thank you. We're very proud of the new route that we have now, and certainly appreciate your work. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Personally, Javi, I want to thank you in front of the board of everything you've done. And Javi fits very well with our aggressive style here of getting out there, talking with carriers, partnering with carriers. And I think that was maybe one of Javier's first thoughts when he saw our plans going forward, how aggressive it was. And I think our styles really match up with his. So expect bigger and better things moving forward.
Sure. Yep. Yeah, I agree. I've seen your aggressive growth plans, and I'm totally in line with that. Go big or go home.
Okay, well, I just wanted to move forward just to show everyone exactly what we have. I know that most of you have seen this before, but it is Airbus 320 service 2 times a week, like we were talking, with 186 passenger jets. Could be 240, depending on the loads and the demand. So with the slide here, you can see that you'll fly from Harlingen to Monterrey, and as soon as the connections are up, we know pretty sure that we got Cancun, Mexico City, and Guadalajara, and many others. We just don't know exactly what those are and what we'll connect to yet. So it's great service to reach all of Mexico, and we're eager to see those connections come up online. I think I check it at least every 30 minutes to see if they're up online yet. But again, Viva Aerobus is working diligently to bring those online. This was a really quick startup, and they get it out. So there's a lot to be done when they have to calculate the connections and what those fares will be. So we're really excited about that. Of course, we did talk about McAllen and Aeromar has the service to Monterrey, but it is a dead leg. I say, I don't know if say that's great. I don't mean it derogatory, but the fact that you can't connect in Monterrey, you can fly to Monterrey on the aircraft, the ATR 72 passenger turboprop aircraft, but after that point, you're not going to connect. There's no other connections out of there. So your best bet at that point would be fly to Mexico City and try to connect out of there. But there is no Aeromar flight to Cancun out of Mexico City, so Viva Aerobus will definitely fill a niche to those markets moving forward. Any questions on our new and latest and greatest airline?
No, just thank you very much, Javier. I appreciate your work.
Thank you. I spoke with Ruben, the Viva Airbus network planning director, asking him about the connections because they're not selling at this point, and he's told me that the person in charge is the director of ancillary revenue, who happened to be a direct report when I was at Viva. So I'm going to reach out to him to see if we can speed things up. So hopefully we can get it done today, but no promises because I don't really know, what the process is and how busy they are. But I'm going to give it a try.
Great, thank you.
Okay, moving forward over the projects, I'm gonna have Brian go through the projects and where we are on those.
Okay, on the runway 13 project, everything's moving along very well. There was a short supply a very short duration for the base material on getting it into the United States on the barge. That has been resolved. And as of last week, 100% of the base has been put down. They're just finalizing the compaction, and we should get densities and testing done today or Monday. Once that's done, it hits a 7-day cure time, and then the big dollar amount will actually start, and we'll start putting asphalt. Once asphalt gets put, the project will go very quick, and then we'll do the grooving and then the repainting of the runway. So they're still on schedule, maybe a little bit ahead of schedule. I'll talk about the sidewalks first, and I'll get into the FIS. The sidewalk repairs, finally the new contractor, they took their time, found the stamp, did some mock-ups, and it was a very slow start, but we wanted quality. These guys are working very quickly, a lot faster than what I even anticipated. They're doing about a phase per week of demo and pouring. And as you can see, the outcome on the top picture there, it's just so much better than the prior contractor, of course, but the quality of work and these will never break up anymore because they don't have the tile on them. It's 5 inches deep of concrete with reinforced steel rebar that has been drilled into the sides of the existing panels. So overall, when the project's completed, it's going to make the front look a lot better. And we're probably still looking at, because it's a lot of work, we're probably about 3 to 4 months out from total completion, but that's okay because when it's done, it's going to be there for life.
Let me just say that we did everything inside the terminal building, and now we're taking care of the sidewalks, and then we have the painting project and the wrap of the columns that you see there. So I mean, we get so many compliments on what this terminal building looks like now, like it's brand new. I just can't wait to see it completed on the outside as well. It should look like a brand new facility, and the key there, no debt.
And then the painting project, we have the pre-con, so I'll have a report on that next board meeting. The FIS, pretty much everything is completed in the FIS. As of today, it'll be about 95 to 96% complete. Over the weekend, what's going to happen is they're going to finish up the minor punch lists, and then there's a lot of cleaning that needs to be done. And then all next week, the custom booths are already set up. The cabling IT has been pulled to those custom booths, so the computers, the processing equipment for processing passengers is already here. So the customs IT plans on setting that up next week so they can start testing. And this project will be completed, next week, basically.
Well, congratulations on the timing. You're just in time, apparently.
Yeah.
It happens every time. When Sun Country was coming back, I had 60 days to gut and strip and rip out HVAC and the offices where Sun Country was going to be, and we got it done like the week before they flew in.
But there's really more to this. I mean, we started on the FIS facility a year ago or so, on different projects, or even more than a year ago, as we added to projects that we were doing inside the terminal building in anticipation for international flights. So we definitely took some risk, but none of that stuff would have been possible to get done in such a short notice for Viva. We continually thought that we would have 6 months to get the FIS facility once an airline announced. And I'm so happy that we we took that leap of faith to get that facility ready ahead of time. You know, after our brief how do you say it experience we had last year prior to COVID, we really quickly with another international carrier, we quickly realized that 6 months is not enough time to even complete what we've already done. So we started then to get it done, and yeah, we're finishing up in an 11th hour, but we've made it.
Congratulations.
Marv, I see here at the bottom right-hand picture, you've got some, are you still beyond that in the background to that? That's the FIS entrance, isn't it?
Yeah, this is the FIS facility back here. This is the FIS facility right here. So we're ready to go out front with FIS. This will continue down through the terminal building. Of course, we'll have to make sure that we have areas for people to walk. Yes, there's going to be some noise and there's going to be some dust, but we'll try to mitigate that as best as possible as we move forward. But yeah, the exit for the FIS, the international passengers will be coming out of the building here and then walking down here for ground transportation or to the rental cars or to even connect on another flight if they were flying out domestically.
The phasing, we're only allowing them to do half of the sidewalk at a time, and then they'll clean it up and then put the fence back up on the other side and do the other half. So there's always going to be a walkway available.
Wonderful. Thank you, guys.
And this is on the FAA Tech Ops building. Demo actually started on Monday, and of course, demo is easy to do. They gutted the grid ceilings, they're ripping out the tile and the floor, all the old cabinetry. They'll start ripping out door frames, and probably by the end of not next week, but the week after, they'll start the refurbishment process. And FAA is very eager to move in there.
Just to remind everybody as well, this is FAA reimbursed, and then we have a $38,000 a year rental to help diversify our revenue stream going forward. So definitely a win-win-win on this one. Just want to let everyone know, I know we've had this slide up many times now. We haven't let up at one iota on what we're doing, our measures to ensure the safety of our employees and passengers. Everything that we've implemented it continues today. And we still have, of course, the federal mandate for masks in the terminal building. But we still have all the social distancing markings, all of the plexiglass, and that's going to probably be around for a long time. And as well as some of the things that we've learned on cleaning and disinfecting, I think is something that's going to be done, for the rest of the time. At least I'm here. So terminal building could not smell or look or be any cleaner than it is. It's amazing from where we came. Lots of meetings, and as you can imagine, over the last month, and especially in working with Viva Aerobus as well. But we continue our COVID response meetings. Unfortunately, Dan, I apologize again for missing so many of them over this last month, as Viva Aerobus and this new airline consumed a lot of our time and efforts. Of course, we're working closely with Riddell Garza, the HEDC, the Harlingen Economic Development Corporation, along with the city on Viva Aerobus. One of the things that we really need to fix, and we've been working as well on, is I met with Ed Com. He's the director of the SPI CBV. We need to fix ground transportation. That was the only issue that we had, or the only tenant that didn't make it through the pandemic. But I'm happy to report that we've got some traction there, working with Dan at the city, and also with Randy, the city manager at SBI, as well as the mayor yesterday expressed to me at SBI that yes, they definitely want to do everything they can to improve ground transportation services in terms of a reciprocating agreement. That was an idea that Dan had come up with, and you know, it's a great idea to make sure that we have taxis here at the airport at all times. You know, right now, a taxi from South Padre Island or from Harlingen will go either to South Padre Island, taking a customer, or bringing a customer back to the airport, and then they have to deadhead back. It doesn't make a lot of sense that that they should be able to pick up here at the airport as well. You know, so if they bring a passenger out, they can get Q into the taxi cab line, and then take a passenger back with them to South Padre Island. So that's one of the ideas that we have to fix the taxi cab issue, and we're working diligently in getting that done. Secondly, I'm working with Ed as well on an RFP that I wrote, sent to him yesterday, a revised copy of the one I sent last week, that we can continue with a consortium of shuttles. So the SPI, the idea is that SPI used to subsidize our one company, but the idea is to have a consortium of companies, of shuttles operators, and then there's a per trip subsidy in order to keep the price lower for the shuttles. So we're working diligently on that to get that done as well. Did meet with Mario Arrieta, AvServ. We're back talking a little bit about what his intent is on the large aircraft or our cargo building on the east side. There may be some traction there as we move forward on possibly purchasing that again. SPI CVB meeting. I actually attended that meeting on March 24th, and we talked about ground transportation there and the need for better ground transportation back and forth to the airport. The Red News webinar worked with the Harlingen EDC, had put together through Red News a webinar promoting the Rio Grande Valley and for businesses throughout the world. So I did a presentation on there about the airport and what's going on here and what it means to the economy of the Rio Grande Valley. Trying to remember all the Zoom meeting with the city and Chamber and EDC. I had a TCAA conference call. That's the Texas Commercial Airports, Texas Commercial Airports Association. I apologize. Too many gray hairs. But they had a conference call. We continue to work on what other airports are doing for COVID recovery, and also working with what's going to be happening at the state in terms of legislation that may affect airports. I can't say enough about the help we received from the city for everything that we've done, Irma Garza, and in setting up everything that was in flux for the announcement of Viva Aerobus. And it was one thing after another, and she was just Johnny on the spot and really helped us out a lot. And I appreciate Dan, you allowing her to work with us and all that stuff. She's excellent. Jess Pressa and Ed Loya, that's TSA, had a meeting with them to discuss, of course, the new carrier and everything that's going on in terms of air traffic, here in the Valley, in particular here at Valley International Airport increasing. Government Affairs Committee, SPI, Chamber. I was a speaker there yesterday morning, talking about everything that's going on here at Valley International Airport. It was very well received and had a lot of comments and congratulations on Viva Aerobus. They're very excited about it.
Marv, I realize you haven't listed this item on the agenda, and I don't know whether you can talk about it or not, but Sun Valley Aviation. I mean, I thought things were going pretty good, but they're not going necessarily as good as we thought. Can you share any of that at this point?
I'd be happy to send out an information email. I don't think, Gene, I can talk about it because it's not on the agenda. Is that correct?
Yeah, we didn't really post it as an agenda item, but you can send out an update.
Okay. I do want to let everyone know that we, to go back to our progress report briefly. I got note Robert Rangel with American Airlines. He's the manager, is here, and he would be happy to give you a quick report on what's going on there with their flights. Robert, are you still on? Robert, you're on mute.
How about now?
I hear you loud and clear now.
Okay. Hey, Marv.
Hey, Robert.
Yes, sir.
So you want to give a quick update on what's happening at American Airlines?
As far as flights, yeah, we do have that extra flight coming in June. I know it's showing it in the system. Hopefully by next month, I know that it'll be in there for sure, set in stone, because sometimes they do put a flight in there, and then they end up taking it off. Just like the other day, I guess we had a 6 p.m. flight, and it was in the system for a couple of days, and people did buy tickets on it, and people did show up, and we're like, we're here for the 6:15 flight, and they had get taken off. So I hope that extra flight sticks. That's showing right now. It looks like it is, but when people are not when they're not informed that the flight is no longer available, it's because they went through a third party, either Travelocity or Expedia, and when they go that route, it's their responsibility to contact the passenger if any flights change. But if they go directly to AA.com and purchase it like that, American does inform them that the flight's no longer there. But as far as loads, they're full every day. I know I send you guys reports, and it's either we're to capacity or oversold. Is there anything else you want to know more?
Oh, that's great. Yeah, all indications are from headquarters that we'll have that 4th flight in June. So happy about that. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, you guys doing great job. Love Harlingen.
Hey,
all right,
Robert, I have a question. Is the flight that is coming in June, the additional flight that's added in June, is that going to be a CRJ 700 as well?
It's showing CRJS. The only one that we have right now is that Embraer on the 11 o'clock. I don't know. I know it wasn't you guys' decision to send us a 50-seater on probably the busiest time, right at noon. And even though it's a 50-seater with there's that one seat that needs to be blocked, the one that's closest to the flight attendant. So it's not even a 50-seater. It's actually a 49-seater. So that 1A seat needs to be blocked on that flight. And same thing on the CRJ. There's 2 seats that need to be blocked, which is the last one, 17 B and C, which are the 2 seats closest to the flight attendant.
Okay, then the Chicago flight is still running through the first Saturday in September, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, so tomorrow the flight is pretty full.
Oh, yes.
Good, thank you.
Yes, sir.
One last thing, just want to state, I just got handed this as well from our marketing staff. So back on marketing real quickly, that our We Are Ready campaign, the commercials that we put out that we all liked, was submitted by Leal Media to the regional Addy Awards. VIA Creative was awarded the best, quote, gold award for best production, professional campaign and sound. So that's just hats off to everyone. We all liked them, and now we got the award to show it.
Awesome.
Right.
Okay, Craig, there's nothing for executive session. So our next meeting is scheduled for May 21st. And to give us some more time to prepare than we had this last time. So we'll make sure we get everything on that we need to get on there.
Okay, great. And everybody, hopefully we have a quorum that can meet on the 21st, and we'll do that. All right, thank you very much. Last item is adjournment. Can I get a motion to adjourn, please?
So moved.
Second.
Ricky Leal, second by Vicky. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Thank you. Thank you all for being here today.
Congrats on the award.
Great.
Thanks,
Bye.
Craig.
Congratulations, Marv. Yeah, great.
Congratulations on
Great
everything.
ads.
Absolutely.
Yeah, great work, Marv.
Thank you, guys.
Y'all have a good weekend.
You too. Thank you.
See you guys. Thank you.